reason I get out of bed every single day is to change perceptions so people with disability, people like me, can get out and live the lives they deserve to live.
Dylan's achievements, both on the tennis court and off the tennis court, highlight not only his work ethic, but his enthusiasm for the sport, as well as disability and inclusion.
When we have young players, they want to be like Dylan, they want to achieve as many things as Dylan did.
He's strong, brave, doesn't give up.
What Dylan is doing has showed me, and I'm sure many other people, what is possible and that the sky's the limit.
He is now recognized as not a player in a wheelchair, but as a great guy.
He does it so kids growing up and people with disabilities can see that we can be elite athletes. Yeah, he just is a really, really inspiring man, and he's just doing so much for the community.
Dylan Alcott is a beast. He's a Golden Grand Slam winner, a guy that runs his own music festival. He's a radio presenter extraordinaire, a legendary television host, runs his own consulting agency. He runs the Dylan Alcott Foundation, and he does all of these things to change our perceptions of what it is to have a disability.
Everywhere you look, you see Dylan, but he's out there and he's a voice for us, and I can't say enough how amazing it is that he is using his platform to really make social change for all of us. Really trying to normalise disability, and as he says, trying to make disability sexy.
He is such a wonderful figure to have on screens, on radio, as this amazingly confident, cool guy that can achieve all of these different things, that is also an incredible role model for young people.
One day we'll be on it.
How dare he be so talented and skilled and hardworking? That's what I want to know.
When I see him train, I want to push harder and harder to my limits and be like him. And he's definitely like a superhero, like he is.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I think standing ovations are one of the most ironic things in the world, by the way. But I'll take them, all right? Without a doubt. Firstly, I want to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land as well and pay my respects to past, present and emerging. To the Prime Minister, thank you so much. I honestly thought I was no chance tonight. I honestly didn't. I got off the court at 1 o'clock today. I won my semi-final at the Australian Open, luckily. I thought I was no chance. Then I got here and I saw this really good-looking ramp. And I thought, I might have a chance here. To be honest, that's a good-looking ramp. I thought, oh, I'm underprepared. I'm shaken. To everybody that's not nominated for the Australian of the Year category, but absolutely everybody here tonight, congratulations on what you're doing. I feel ridiculous sitting up here, to be honest. I was looking at everybody's profiles, what you're doing. You don't need this to keep changing this country. You really don't. And I'm extremely honoured to be among all of you and to get the nod. As I said, congratulations on everything that you're doing. And I feel, I mean, the last 2 years have been so tough on so many people, and to our, I feel honestly ridiculous being here. To our frontline workers, our nurses, our doctors, people running our vaccines, our AMBOs, our firefighters, you deserve this way more than a guy who hits tennis balls and likes talking. You know what I mean? I really mean that, and it's such a huge honour. And I know, I guess she has officially finished her turn as Australian of the Year, but it would be remiss of me without shouting out Grace Tame on an absolutely incredible year. Tammy, you are fierce and I love it, and you have done so much for your cause, and if I could be 1/8 of the Australian of the Year that you were, I think I've done my job. And I remember when I won the US Open, I sculled a beer out of my trophy, and you put it up on Twitter saying, if I got to pass the mantle over to this guy, I'd be honoured. But the only thing is we have to scull a beer together. So give me a couple of days, and then we can do it. All right, not just yet. I've been in a wheelchair my whole life. I was born with a tumour wrapped around my spinal cord that was cut out when I was only a couple of days old, and I've known nothing but having a disability. And if I'm honest with you, I cannot tell you how much I used to hate myself. I used to hate having a disability. I hated it so much. I hated being different, and I didn't want to be here anymore. I really didn't. And whenever I turned on the TV or the radio or the newspaper, I never saw anybody like me. And whenever I did, it was a road safety ad where someone drink drives, has a car accident, and what's the next scene? Someone like me in tears because their life was over. And I thought to myself, that's not my life. But I believed that was going to be my life. And I'm so lucky that I had one of the best family and some of the best friends and my beautiful partner, Chantel, and my whole team who told me that I was worthy and that I was allowed to be loved. And, when I reached the end of my teenage years, I started seeing people like me. I also stand on the shoulders of giants. Not literally. Still can't stand. But Paralympic athletes like Louise Savage, Kurt Fernley, Danny DeToro, people that are the reason that I got into sport, advocates like Stella Young, they paved the way so I can be here tonight. They should have been Australian of the Year as well. And I'm honestly so honoured to be up here, and it's because of them and everybody in my life that I sit here as a proud man with a disability tonight. I love my disability. It is the best thing that ever happened to me. It really is. And I'm so thankful for the life that I get to live. And I get sent stem cell research and all this stuff. And you could honestly not pay me enough money in the whole world to ever do it. Because I love the person that I am and the life that I get to live. And I'm the luckiest guy in this country, easily. But I know for the 4.5 million people in this country, 1 in 5 people that have a physical or non-physical disability, they don't feel the same way that I do. And it's not their fault. But it's up to all of us to do things so they can get out and be proud of their disability as well and be the people that they want to be. We've got to fund the NDIS first and foremost and listen to people with lived experience and ask them what they need so they can get out and start living the lives that they want to live. And remind ourselves that it is an investment in people with disabilities so they can get off pensions and start paying taxes, just like their carers and their family members as well. As we start opening up from this pandemic, which is awesome, we got to think about and prioritise people with disability, some of the most vulnerable people in our community. We got to get them the vaccines and the tests and whatever else they need so they can get out there and start living their life. If a person with a disability needs a free daily RAT test so they feel confident going out and doing things that we all might take for granted, they've got to get that RAT test. We've got to keep improving more employment opportunities for people with a disability as well. Of those 4.5 million people, only 54% of them are involved in the workforce. Unemployment rate is double that of able-bodied people. Both figures haven't moved in 30 years. And guess what? We're not just ready to work, we're ready to take your jobs. All right? We are coming. We are coming. But we're going to get those opportunities. And lastly, we have to have greater representation of people with a disability absolutely everywhere. In our boardrooms, in our parliaments, in our mainstream schools, on our dating apps, on our sporting fields, in our universities, absolutely everywhere. So we get the opportunity to start living our lives just like everybody else. And I promise you, you won't just enrich the lives of us, but also yourselves in the process. And before I go, I just want to leave you with this. One of the number one questions I get asked by people is, Dill, mate, What is your advice to a young person with a disability, or anyone with a disability, so they can start living their life? And my advice is this: you don't need my advice. You know what to do. And you've had people telling you what to do your whole life. But my advice is to you, non-disabled people. It's time for you to challenge your unconscious biases, leave your negative perceptions at the door, and lift your expectation of what you think people with disability can do. Because it's always more than you think. Now, unfortunately, I heard the Australian of the Year after party is one of the best after parties ever. But unfortunately, I've got an Australian Open to try and win in about 36 hours. I really hope I make you proud out there. But winning Grand Slams and gold medals isn't my purpose. It's like the 30th priority of my life. My purpose is changing perceptions so people with disability, people like me, can get out there and live the lives that they deserve to live. It was my purpose yesterday, it was my purpose today, and it will be my purpose as your Australian of the Year for the next 12 months and beyond. And I really hope I make every single one of you proud. Thanks very much.
Your Australian of the Year for 2022, Dylan Alcott. We're so proud of you, buddy.
I just have to say, Dylan Alcott, that you not only make disability and humility, but you also make kindness very sexy. So, sorry Chantel, but he does, you know it. We're so proud of you. What an overwhelmingly wonderful evening it has been. Please now welcome back to the stage all of our national recipients. And while that happens, Hamish, tell us what is in store tomorrow.
Okay, Australia Day coverage kicks off on the ABC with the Woogalora morning ceremony at 7.